Welcome, y'all. Back to some more geometry. We're talking about rhombi and squares. Rhombi, by the way, is the plural form of a rhombus right here. So, again, let's talk about the last couple of shapes right here, kind of add on some more. So, parallelograms. What was true about parallelograms? What was true about that stuff? Remember, opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Good. The arrows means parallel, showing which parallel to. Lines means congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. Good. Diagonals bisect each other. Good. Oh, that's a horrible line. Let's try that again. Okay, good enough. Those are congruent to each other right there. And then the angles, supplementary angles, are congruent. Okay, or not congruent, they're supplementary. Consecutive angles, supplementary. Right here. So, then, of course, on a rectangle, to add on to that, all that's true plus all four angles are right angles, and the diagonals are congruent to each other. So the whole thing's congruent to each other, and the individual parts congruent to each other as well. So let's talk about a rhombus. And actually, before we do that, let me clear this up. We're going to do a little tree real quick. Clear annotation. We're going to do a little tree. So everything is based off a quadrilateral. That's a horrible quadrilateral. Let's do a better one. A four-sided figure. And that little chiquito right there. All right. Quadrilateral. So from quadrilateral, you have a little tree. It goes to a parallelogram. All these things are true about parallelograms. Right here. From there, we get what's called a rectangle. A rectangle is an add-on to that. Right there. But you also get, off a parallelogram, is a rhombus. And we'll see what makes it special. Rhombus right here. So a rhombus is a parallelogram. Okay, so all the things about parallelograms true, but all four sides are equal to each other. Unlike a rectangle, all four sides are equal to each other. So like a rectangle, this does not have right angles. So that's what makes it different than a rectangle. But it's a parallelogram, so it comes off the parallelogram tree, straight from the parallelogram. But all four sides are congruent. So if that's true, what's the value of x here, y'all? Yeah, we set it equal to each other. So minus x, minus 3, minus 3. You're left with x equals 4. I feel like the answer's been 4 a lot. I don't know why. But what's also true about a rhombus is, unlike these still bisect each other. That's true. But what makes it a little bit more special is the diagonals are perpendicular. It forms a right angle, making 4 right triangles right there. There's 4 right triangles. FYI, we're doing the Pythagorean theorem somewhere along the way here. You haven't noticed that. All right. So let's look at some more information. So a parallelogram is a rhombus. And that's true. So the diagonals bisect. So if your parallelogram is a rhombus, then what's also special about rhombus is the diagonals bisect the opposite angles. That means this angle right here is congruent to this one. This one's congruent to this one. These two are congruent to each other. And these two are congruent to each other. And not just that, but opposite angles are also congruent to each other because it's a parallelogram. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Those two angles are congruent. Those two angles are congruent. Both of these are congruent to both of these. Both of these are congruent to both of these right here. So that being said, it's under the A, B, C. This whole angle right here, the whole thing is 64. Okay, 64. So what is C, D, B? So what is this angle right here? This little one right here. It's half of that. It's 32 because this whole thing is 64. This whole thing is 64. That got bisected, making it 32. What about B, C, D? This whole thing right here. What is this whole thing right here? 116, because remember, this is still true. It's still a parallelogram. So this whole angle B and this whole angle C equal 180. So if this whole angle B is 64, this whole angle C, or BCD, is 116. Well, what is BAC? So what is this little half right here then? Well, if the whole thing is 116, then half of that would be what? 58 Yeah, 58. Good. So a few more things right here about a rhombus. So that being said, angle FJH, this whole angle right here, is 82. Find the measurement of angle KHJ, this angle right here. Well, let's start out with this. What is the whole angle H? What is the whole thing right here? This whole thing is 82. This whole thing is 98. Because remember, these are still supplementary angles right here. So then that being said, the diagonal does cut in half. So the value of that right there is what, y'all? 49. Good. 49 degrees. All right, to add on to that, still using the same right here, tell us that x, this GH right here, is x plus 9. JH right here is 5x minus 2. What is the value of x? Again, all four sides of a rhombus equal each other. So then both of those will equal each other. X plus 9 equals 5x minus 2. So minus x plus 2 plus 2, leaving me 11. 9, 10, 11, yeah, 11 equals 4x divided by 4. 11 over 4 equals x. Totally acceptable answer. Last thing we're talking about is a square right here. You know, a square. A long time ago, this rectangle met this rhombus. They fell in love, had this little baby named a square. A class, I think about it like that because, ooh, there we go. What makes a square different from, it's a parallelogram, but it takes classification of its parents. All four sides are congruent, like a rhombus, and then all four angles are a right angle, like the rectangle. So it's a love child of those two put together. Good way to remember it. All right. Now let's actually talk about this. So, like it says, all four angles are right angles, and then all four sides are congruent to each other. So then that being said, if RK is 5, and then this is 5 radical 2, and this angle YRZ right here is 45. This angle right here is 45. What is KY right here? These are congruent, remember, so that's 5. What is PK? That's 5. What is YKZ? What is this angle right here? Again, it's like a rhombus. It's perpendicular, 90 degrees. And what is PZR? All angles got bisected, so that's 45 as well. If you have any questions, y'all, feel free to ask. But other than that, have a wonderful, wonderful day.